Hello, in this session we're going to talk about test versioning capabilities in Octane. This session will include a short explanation on the versioning dialog itself, editing tests using versioning, running tests and test suites, and viewing the results in dashboard. We'll start by understanding the revision a little better. The easiest and quickest way to inspect a test version is by using the versions control. The revision itself contains three different segments. The leftmost is the major one, the middle segment is the minor one, and the rightmost segment is the external one. The first segment represents a major version, which means the save version type. Every time you save a new version of a test script, the first segment increments by 1. The second segment represents a minor version, a simple save. Every time you save a test script, the second segment increments by 1. And the third segment, the rightmost one, represents an external version, the external test injection type, which means that every time a test is injected into Octane with a different script, the third segment increments by 1. Each one of the versions is related to a release it ran in. You can view and edit the release field if you wish to assign a revision to a specific release. Anyway, every time you run a test and select a release, that release is automatically added to the revision itself. In the test run dialog, you can select the release you want to run. If you're running with the latest version, that release value will be added to the latest script version you have. You can also run a different version. We understand in Octane that a test script is a dynamic entity which can be changed along the way. For example, you can add new functionality in the current release and then add new functionality in the next release, and also you can remove and delete some of the functionalities in the next release. So if we enter the version control, we can see that the script version is updated every time. For example, here we can see we added some functionality in newer and newer on, but in the latest release we decided to delete and to remove some of the functionality. So of course we have to update the test script as well. So we can see in the latest revision that the irrelevant functionality was deleted. In this way, for example, if a QA engineer wants to run a regression event on the previous release, he can use that by running the test itself, but selecting, using this checkbox, not the latest version, but the older one. This way, not the latest script version will be loaded in the manual runner, but a different one, the one that I selected. Bear in mind that if you have more than one revision of a certain release, it will take the latest one. And as you can see, the script version that was loaded to the manual runner is not the latest one, but the older one with the relevant functionality. And then you can enter the version control, and you can see that the latest script version, which was run in the newer release, is added to the script. Now I can see that this specific script was ran in 2 different releases, the old release and the new release. The same goes for test suite. If I have a test suite with a couple of tests and I want to run all of them with their latest script version, I would probably want to run them without this checkbox. Now I can run them in the new release and all of the tests will be loaded with their latest script version. But if I want to use not the latest version of those tests, the inner tests, I can select an old release and there the tests in the test suite will be loaded with the script version of the old release. If a certain test doesn't have the old release value related to one of these revisions, the latest script version will be used. As you can see, the test script was loaded with the older one. After running the tests with a different version, we can analyze the runs and add widget to it. For example, the test runs from new release. We configure it to show all the test runs up to now. In the filter, we will add the filter of versioning from release, and we will select the specific release we want to see. In this example, we want to see it according to the tests and group by status. And then we can see the different tests that ran in the specific new release that we chose. We can drill down, we can see the script itself. And if we enter the manual run itself, we will see in the report the exact script version that was ran.